Greetings of the day. In our upcoming presentation, my team members and I would apprise you all of the flora and fauna of Antarctica. Antarctica is Earth's southernmost continent. Situated almost entirely south of the Antarctic Circle and surrounded by the Southern Ocean, it contains the geographic South Pole. The flora and fauna of Antarctica is the least diverse of all the continents due to extreme climatic conditions of this territory. Antarctica is 98% covered by a layer of ice up to 2,500 meters thick, with temperatures reaching minus 90 degrees Celsius and annual rainfall of 200 millimeters in the form of snow. However, in limited coastal areas on the western side, conditions are somewhat suitable for life. Therefore, it is there and in the surrounding ocean that most of the flora and fauna of Antarctica inhabit. Suprati and Payal will be further telling us more about the flora of this continent, and Anshika and Arya will be covering the fauna of Antarctica. Krishna will be telling us some interesting facts about the diversity of Antarctica.
Antarctic pearlwort, also known as Colobanthus squitensis, has small yellow flowers and can grow up to 5 centimeters in height. It can be most commonly found in rocky areas in the coastal regions of the continent. Since there aren't any flies, bees, or birds to help out with the pollination process, both plants rely on the wind to help them pollinate. Additionally, both plants are self pollinators. This is an adaptation that has most likely evolved in response to a harsh climate where plants are often widely spaced. With an increase in temperature throughout the peninsula due to climate change, both plant species have experienced substantial expansion throughout their range. Apart from these, Antarctica alone contains 100 species of mosses, 25 to 30 species of liverworts, 250 of lichens, and over 700 species of algae. The greatest diversity of species is found along the western side of the Antarctic Peninsula, where the climate is generally warmer and wetter than elsewhere in the Antarctic continent.
Antarctica was once home to a diverse floral assemblage that rivaled anything we see in the tropics today. When Antarctica split from the Gondwana supercontinent 200 million years ago and drifted south, thousands of plant species died out as the continent cooled. But a small minority of Antarctica's plants adapted to the extreme conditions and thrived. There are few favorable conditions in the Antarctic which promote vegetation in light of thick ice cover, little light, dry and very saline soil, and extremely short vegetation periods. Currently, there are only two known species of flowering plants. First, Antarctic hairgrass. Second, Antarctic polwort. First, Antarctic hairgrass, also known as Deschamps antarctica, grows primarily in the Antarctic Peninsula in small, concentrated tufts throughout rocky areas. These plants are most commonly seen amongst penguin colonies and can withstand high amounts of disturbance without withering away. Their complex and deep root systems keep them well anchored within their habitat and allows them to easily absorb water and nutrients from the environment. In the winter time, the hairgrass loses its long, slender green leaves and can withstand freezing temperature without completely dying.
Fauna of Antarctica. Antarctica's wildlife is diverse and unique. It is the only continent on Earth which has no terrestrial mammals but is home to a range of marine wildlife and birds, including penguins. The most common birds in Antarctica are penguins. It is home to 18 different species, including the emperor penguin. Let's talk about different species of penguin. To begin with, the emperor penguin is the largest of all penguin species. They can be up to 130 centimeter tall and on an average weighs 23 kg as an adult. Penguins live on a diet of fish, squid and krill. Krill is not only just eaten by penguins but is very important food source for many other species in Antarctica's wildlife. The very next important species of penguin in Antarctica is the Gentoo penguin. There are estimated to be about 3 lakh breeding pairs of Gentoo penguins in the Antarctic region, putting them second only to emperor penguins in terms of population scarcity. They live about 15 to 20 years and are one of the fastest swimming birds. The next is the Marconi penguin. These island dwelling crested penguins have an estimated population of 12 million pairs. Adult Marconi penguins and chin strap penguins are virtually identical in terms of height and weight, growing to around 70 centimeter, which is 28 inches, and 5.5 kg, which is 12 pounds, with a main diet of fish, krill, and squid. Marconi chicks grow enough within 10 weeks to leave their parents behind and integrate into the adult penguin population. They live about 15 years in the wild.
Snailfish. They have elongated tadpole-like bodies, which is flabby and translucent. They have 30 genera and 410 species. They are strictly found in cold waters and are the first animal from the extreme depths of ocean coping up with cold, dark, and extreme pressure about 8,000 meters down in the ocean. Codfish. These codfish are also known as Antarctic toothfish, are carnivorous and slow swimmers. They live up to 13 years or more depending on the species. They are normally found in Ross Sea and often lives at depths about 5,000 feet to 6,500 feet. Eelfish. They have a total of 800 species and can be up to 13 feet long. They mostly live in the shallow waters of the ocean and burrow into sand, mud, or amongst rock. A majority of eel species are nocturnal, thus they are rarely seen. Whales. There are 90 species of whales and 6 of them are found in Antarctica. They weigh up to 120 tons on average but have been known to weigh 200 tons. Blue whales are the largest creature on the earth and live up to 70 to 90 plus years. Humpback whales can live up to 50 years and feed through the process called
Facts about species in Antarctica. Fact number 1. Penguins eat a variety of seafood, including fish, squid, and crustacean. The smaller penguins usually feed on krill. Because they eat so much seafood, penguins need to be able to cope with a high amount of salt they ingest. They have a gland located just above the eyes called the supraorbital gland, which filters salt from the bloodstream. This is then excreted through the bill or by sneezing. Fact number 2. The brown Antarctica skua forages at sea and often steals food from other seabirds. It also feeds on the eggs and young of penguins. Fact number 3. Many bird species have adapted to flying by having hollow bones, whereas penguins have tense bones, which make diving easier. Fact number 4. Albatross spend over 80% of their life at sea, visiting land only for breeding. Fact number 5. Penguins can dive to depth over 250 meters. The deepest dive ever recorded was by a female emperor penguin who dove at a depth of 535 meters.